Hey, this is Kellen from Wizard Tricks. Super excited about this live stream tonight. I got Spicy Liam on the channel today.
Hey,
Really
what's up,
excited to
guys?
have him. So I'm going to let him introduce himself, but you can also find his channel. The link is in the description. Definitely check it out. But it's going to be good on the Wizard Unite front today.
Awesome. Hey, guys, my name's Liam. As you guys know, I am Spicy. As most of you guys know me in the Wizarding world, I've been playing the game ever since the beta came out in New Zealand. Yeah, that's right. I live in New Zealand, if you guys don't know. Um, and yeah, I also played Pokemon Go ever since it launched. Luckily enough, I was in Santa Monica when it first launched globally, so I got to play it there for the time being. But yeah, super excited for this live stream, man.
Nice, yeah. Santa Monica really is a great place to grind. I'm local to the Los Angeles area.
Oh yeah,
Definitely Santa Monica is a good place to be when it was released. It was crazy. Every time I would
yeah,
go, because Dragonites would spawn there so much,
yeah.
people would literally drive from like other states and come play and literally
Really?
drive back just to like hope that they get a Dragonite. It was crazy. I was like,
Because
you're
what I
committed.
found, because what I found down there, like you could tell that everyone was playing Pokemon Go because people were just they had all their phones plugged into a power bank, and then Pacific Park, the theme park on
Yeah.
here. Did you see that sign that they made? It's got like Pokeballs and it says no Pokemon Go and riding the rides at the same time. It was funny as.
That
They
is
say
funny.
gotta catch them all, but don't catch them on our rides.
Some of the shops really embraced it, and I think some of
Yeah.
them were like, "This is crazy," but
What
yeah,
I found in Auckland was, which was really cool. They started putting up all these like pixel art in their windows with sticky notes.
hmm
That was super funny.
yeah, absolutely. Well, some businesses really just are like, "Man, there are people coming to play. I might as well invite them into my business." So, like, and yeah, so okay, so let's jump into Wizards Unite. So
Yeah.
obviously, the beta just got released. For everyone who doesn't know, but I think if you're watching this, you're probably getting
You
the picture
probably
of the
know what's
beta.
happening.
Yeah, the beta has been released in New Zealand specifically, where some people are getting to play. And why don't you tell us a little bit about? Let's just start off with your initial reaction of the game and what your favorite features are at the moment.
All right. So yeah. So as I said, the game's been out for a week. Today I think it's hit 7 days now. This is the seventh day I'm uploading. So um yeah, it's just been really crazy. The game is it's awesome. Now what I found was originally when I jumped into the game, uh it was like, okay, that's sick. And then it started going through the whole ministry ID thing. That was super sick. But I do wish that the houses had something, bigger to do in the game than it currently does. All it really is now is a cosmetic type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I noticed that. I mean, we talked a lot about this before the game was released. Are they going to do houses? How are they going to do teams? Are they going to
Yeah.
do teams? How are they going to structure this? And it looks like they found a way to include it without including it, which
Yeah.
I think is I would have been okay with houses as more of a center focus because so many people are aware of them, especially in like mainstream. Everyone
Yeah.
knows about the houses, but you can. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but you can pick a house. You can
Yeah.
still do that. It's just not the main focus of the game, like you were saying. There's really nothing to it.
And what I figured out today, if I don't know if you guys know, I did a live stream previous to this with I am Ryzen. But we figured out that you can actually swap houses at any point in the game. Like I could
Really,
click a button right now and change houses.
really,
Um,
okay. That's really
which
interesting. That's
is
really
interesting.
That is crazy. Well, I'd love for you to talk some about the different professions and why you should choose one profession over another. Because there's obviously some benefits. Your character can do different things or has bonuses depending on the profession you choose. So,
Yeah,
can you go into some of those?
yeah, for sure. I'll get it up right now. Here's some live gameplay, guys. Um, Yeah, so the professions, as you guys know, that there's 3 professions. There's Aura, Magizoologist, and Professor. I've tried out Aura and Professor, not Magizoologist yet. I think I will, but not for as long as I have on Professor and Aura. Let's go in here. As you can see, here's some. I'll actually try and get the thing up on the screen soon.
Okay.
But as you can basically, what you have in Professor is it it's kind of like a half and half with Aura.
Mm-hmm.
So you're I don't know if you can explain it better, but in these professions you have these circle squares skills. Those circle skills are benefits to you and you only, and to your wand. And you also have these square ones, which you can drag onto either a extra teammate of yours to give them health while they're currently in battle, or you can drag them onto a foe to make it so, I've dragged this one onto you, which is the Deterioration Hex.
Mm-hmm.
It says place an impairment on a foe that lowers their stamina every time they attack or defend.
Got it.
And stamina is the HP in this game.
Yeah,
Just didn't know.
and you can basically build up that skill tree is
Yeah.
basically, and you basically get higher bonuses based off of those. So
Yeah.
switching back and forth, I guess you can basically either pick one profession, stick with it, build up those skills, or you can kind of bounce around and build all of them up so that you can, depending on I guess who you're playing with, other players around you, you can basically strategically pick the type of profession that's going to best help the group.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I've said this in my video as well. You should always, if you're trying to defeat a fortress really quickly, you should have all 3 different professions so that you can knock them out. Because at the moment, I don't know what the actual percentages are on the different foes. But right now, it looks like there are more Aura and Professor uh, bonus attacking for
Okay.
us. So it's kind of hard to explain. I'll try and send you a picture in Discord.
Okay.
But what it does is, here we go. If you can see on there, you have like this plus and minus. The plus basically, which is the little green one, if it has that on top of the icon on that foe, it means that you're going to deal way more damage to them than they will do for you. And if it's a minus, they're going to do more damage. So let's say that the foe is a Magizoology creature. A Magizoologist is going to do more damage to that than a Professor.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how those professions work in that situation. And yeah, it's really good to pick the right profession, especially because, well, I mean, you can swap them, and currently in the game at no charge. We don't know if that's gonna have a charge after this beta.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling it will,
Mm-hmm.
because they won't give that leeway just as you can, so you can quickly swap. They might, which would be
Yeah.
awesome, but
Yeah.
they might not.
It could, depending on what they do with it, because I agree, it's definitely something they could monetize.
Yeah.
And maybe for the beta, why it's so easy to change is because they want people playing around with them and testing them out.
Show
So it
people,
could just
yeah.
be because of the beta that we have the ability to switch, or you have the ability to switch. But I do think that's something they could change, or what they've done with Pokemon Go, where there's just you have to have a lot of Stardust, or you have to have a lot of a certain type of item, that you have to grind for basically in order to switch. I think they could do something like that would just increase the amount of energy people buy from the store.
Oh yeah.
The different things like so do it in a way that you have to play the game in order to get, but you end up buying from them in order to get, like Pokeballs, for instance, but in this case, energy or different types of potions or things like that. How much have you actually played around with potions? Have you done a lot of?
Potions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have actually. Um, I've I've only got 3 potions that I can currently craft. But again, that depends on your level, of
Hmm.
course. Um, also, yeah. So I don't. There's 2 different pots. I think they're called pots. I
Hmm.
presume they're called pots.
Yeah.
You have the silver pot, which is given to everyone.
Okay.
And then you have the golden pot, which I'm trying to show you. Basically, it's rent. You can rent your own pot for
Okay.
a specific amount of hours and minutes. Um, you can rent it for as minimum as 3 hours or as maximum as a day. And that's another way for them to monetize that, of course.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But I like it how they've put a time restriction on those potions, so you can only they take an hour minimum to craft.
Yeah.
It's not instant, you know.
Hmm.
I think that's something that I definitely like in the game. I'm glad that they implemented that part.
Yeah, I think. Well, I've done a little bit of research on it. I think it's really cool what they've done, and I like how many different types of potions they're going to include in the game. I mean, the list is actually massive. I think there ends up being like 20 some odd
Yeah,
potions that once you get to the top tier level, you're able to brew, which is crazy when you think about it. And really, it's entirely another level from Pokemon Go, where you have just the different raspberries in Pokemon Go.
yeah.
With this, I mean, you have tons of different potions that can affect the game. I mean, there's maybe you can speak on this, but from the outside looking in, without having actually played the game yet, it looks like the depth is just massive. There's so much going on with this game.
Yeah, there is for sure. Um, what I think, uh, I mean, depends, but potions are kind of like raspberries. If you ever play Pokemon Go, they're raspberries basically.
Yeah,
They make it so it's easier to defeat foes and confoundables, um, and for also you to gain health.
yeah.
Um, which I like. I like that health part of the game.
Hmm.
And that's specifically just in fortresses as well. You don't have an overall health in the game, because that would be definitely interesting.
Yeah. So with going into that, I really am
Yeah.
curious. When I think a lot of people have questions about too, especially rural players. Do you live in a city or do you live? Are you more rural?
So I'm in a city. I'm in Auckland, and that's what I'm going to be covering in the next couple of episodes on my channel. I'm actually traveling down tomorrow to this place called Whakatane in Rotorua.
Okay.
So I'm going to check out the more rural areas and see if there is a difference compared to Pokemon Go.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, being in the city, um, there's is this just you just meaning as in
Yeah. Spawn.
inns
Basically
and
spawns and different
spawns?
encounters.
Yeah. So for inns, um, the interesting part is that we've got, you know how the different tiered inns work. You have the blue and purple and gray,
Yeah.
brown technically. The brown and purple ones are more spawning in the actual like um city where there's towers and there's sea
Okay.
skyline and stuff like that. Um, one of our thoughts in the community is currently, oh, is that something to do with not being around water, for it to be a blue one, or is it because they're trying to make it more realistic? Because
Mm-hmm.
the blue ones are bigger houses, and the purple ones are really narrow.
Sure.
Because in North Shore we've got only blues, and that we're thinking that's because we're always around water.
Hmm.
Um, and if you don't know, North Shore is on the opposite side of Auckland. We have a
Okay.
bridge connecting. Um, so it's more like the leisure side of the city to the busy part.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, it's interesting to see, and the park feature, I think that's a really good thing as well.
Sure.
They've added in these parks. I'm finding that it's actually um, different parts. What's it called? I think it's called it's like types. You know how you have the Death Eater type and you have that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's interesting to see. Uh, I've only seen like maybe three around, like three different types of
Okay.
those parks. I don't know what the actual game files are,
Sure.
um, but yeah, I see a parks a lot of times, and even in places that shouldn't be parks. Um,
Okay. Well,
I've
I was curious, how lenient are they actually with that in terms
with
of,
the parks.
yeah. But it,
Yeah. So
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
oh yeah. So what I found was I actually found a park, well, a park on in game,
Hmm.
um, that was just city, like city
Okay.
landmarks and stuff like that. There was tall high-rise buildings,
Uh-huh.
and there was no greenery around them whatsoever.
Hmm.
Which I think they should try and actually like update their map to see, from the satellite footage, is there actually greenery? Is there actually a park there? And I think they'll get into that more after the beta.
Interesting.
Um,
So it's actually missing places that should actually be zoned as that.
yeah,
Well,
that's one of my concerns with it.
that's actually really interesting because how Pokemon, they have their home, their they use basically, I forget the name of the website, it's blanking on me, but they use basically a
Yeah,
site along with Google, but there's another site they use, it's like Open Streets or something like that,
yeah,
where they actually have stuff zoned. So it's interesting that things aren't zoned. Have you checked out that website and see if it's zoned on
yeah.
that site?
Yeah, so it looks like it's the exact same zones as Pokemon Go.
Hmm.
Uh, but in the first original days, I definitely had less inns around me.
Okay.
Um, so I have, let's say, 4 Pokestops around me.
Okay.
Two of those were missing on the launch day in New Zealand. They have been added. So it
Really
looks like they are
interesting.
going through the system to see if there are any bugs within the game or something like that.
Interesting. I wonder if they're just gradually, I guess they're just gradually adding
Yeah.
locations or points. So are you find like in Pokemon Go, you could like go to a space and it just pops up with Pokemon. There's just a lot of encounters
Yeah.
basically that you can have. What's the scale? Are you finding there's about the same, less, or more encounters inside of Wizards Unite as compared to Pokemon Go?
Good question. I have asked, been asked this question before actually, and it's the exact same spawn points as Pokemon Go.
Hmm.
Um, what I found was I found 2 confoundables around me. I
Yeah.
quickly launched Pokemon Go. They're in the exact same 2 spots. So it looks like it's based off Pokemon Go's mapping as well on that
Got
one.
it. So it's about the same. So you can probably expect about the same number of encounters in Wizards Unite as Pokemon
Yeah.
Go. That's really good to know. So how about in terms of spells? How are you liking how they've done the spells, and how frequently does it change? Is it do you find that you're doing different spells a lot, or are you doing this very similar ones over and over again?
Yeah, great question. I find that I'm doing a lot over and over again actually, recently, but that could just be uh, depending on which confoundable I click into,
Hmm.
what type they are.
Hmm.
I've been going into a lot of uh, magical creatures at the moment, and the ministry. But yeah, I've been finding a lot of the E um,
Okay.
ones and not a lot of A. If you guys don't know what I'm meaning, there is a spell that looks identical to an E and one identical to an A. I only just found the A maybe 3 times this whole week, which is really
Okay.
interesting. And yeah, I think it's a mix, but I'm not entirely sure on that. I've been seeing a lot of repetition on them.
Got it. Okay, that's
I'll
good
try
to
and
know.
find I'll try and find the exact spells. Um, uh,
Yeah, there's
I'm
a
looking at
there's
our
like a
database.
whole list of them, but
Yeah,
um, I have the screenshots somewhere. But
I've
that's really cool.
definitely.
So I'm actually really glad to hear that you're seeing the similar number of spawns. That's I for whatever reason I
Is
was
that like
thinking
one of
we'd
the
see a
biggest
lot less.
worry?
Well, yeah. I mean, I thought we'd honestly see a lot less because there just seems to be like in Pokemon, there's 150. You know, the game came out with 150. You know, we're
Yeah.
not from what I've seen. There's just not that many. There's not the same variety of encounters as there is in Pokemon Go. It's a lot of the same.
Yeah, I'm finding a lot of trolls. A lot of them. They're the new Pidgeys.
Nice.
um, yeah, but but yeah, there are definitely a lot of the same. Yesterday I encountered a really hard. I think it was I can't remember the exact terminology they used in game,
Mhm.
but extreme extreme level of a confoundable.
Sure.
And I didn't even get to catch it or turn it because it was that hard. And I was using potions. I was getting critical hits. Still couldn't hit. I still couldn't even get
Huh.
it. So it's kind of I kind of get the same people or maps or like the more orders map or whatever. But I've been seeing like within the past day a couple more that I haven't seen the whole week. So it looks like they might be slowly, gradually spawning them out for us
Okay.
to see how maybe their servers react to that certain confoundable or something like that. But hopefully, we do see more controlled spawns.
Sure. So one thing that I'm really curious about is, you know, like for instance, if we use the example of Hagrid.
Yeah,
So you encounter Hagrid and you free him and he basically becomes like you know you go into like the picture book or whatever, basically whatever it's called, you know,
yeah,
and
the registry.
yeah, the database, and you basically seen one and like captured one or whatever the word is.
Yeah,
And so what's the reason to ever encounter a Hagrid again? I mean, is there really no other reason? Because it doesn't seem like it. From what I've
I
seen in
don't
screenshots, it
think you
seems like
can.
there's no point.
I don't think you actually can see him again. Um,
But
I haven't seen him ever since that tutorial. Um, there are prestiging. If you know what prestige is,
sure, yeah. Basically, like
you
leveling up for people who don't know what procedure is. Basically, going to a level and then going beyond that and kind of going to
yeah,
another level.
exactly. But that's for the individual pages.
Okay,
Um, but yeah, I've found that I haven't ever seen another Hagrid. I wonder if maybe once you prestige, maybe it will unlock an extra Hagrid so you can try
sure.
and prestige it again. But then again, I don't know for that one, actually.
So okay, so what about troll? So you see a troll. Does a troll end up that goes into the database as well?
Yeah.
So are you able to prestige that, or have you just not reached the max level of trolls, or the
So
level of trolls for that age?
yeah, good question. I'm gonna try and find actually how many trolls I've captured. There are a lot. Oh, interesting. So I found a troll many times,
Uh-huh.
and you'll see that in my video. But apparently, I have not captured one, which I definitely have. It's coming up as
Yeah, just
unknown,
white. Yeah.
which is a good bug to find. I'll report that. But yeah, um I definitely have hit that max. I think I
Yeah.
actually may have prestiged that. I don't know, but
Well,
yeah,
that's really interesting. I wonder how that's going to work because um, obviously if you capture it and then it goes in your book, and they can't just like I mean it'd be like catching a bunch of Pidgeys and then you never see a Pidgey again. That'd be
yeah,
crazy. And I think it kind of goes into my next question for you, which is grinding. One, I think grinding, I think is going to be from my perspective, going to be a lot more difficult. People aren't going to just be able to drive around or walk around aimlessly and spin Pokeballs and catch them. Like, you have to pay attention to what you are doing when playing Wizards Unite. Like, it takes a fair bit more effort to play the game. So, one, how easy do you think it's going to be to grind? And then, two, let's just start with that. Why don't we just start with that one? How easy do you think it's going to be for people to grind?
Good question, because what I've been finding out recently, like more recently, in the past couple of days, it is insanely hard to grind compared to Pokemon Go, where you can just spin on the go. You can spin, catch something while you're off to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Grinding is an interesting topic because you have to. It's all about fortresses in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Fortress is, I think, the main thing that players in New Zealand have been obsessed with, finding and going up through to new fortresses and towers,
Sure.
more than the registry,
Mm-hmm.
more than actually capturing them. Which
Okay.
I find is, I think they need to try and find a new balance for capturing them and fortresses, because at the moment it's just fortresses.
Interesting. Well, I wonder if it's
But
just kind of boring at this point. Too, like, it gets old real quick
yeah, it
for
does.
capturing, especially because, like, Pokemon Go, at least you can evolve the Pokemon. Like, you're shooting for something, you have to capture enough and complete the Pokedex. But it doesn't seem like there's that much. Like, they're not giving you that big of a reason to complete that.
Yeah, and what I've been finding against all the Auckland players on our group uh, is that it's been getting a little bland. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I love the game and everything. I think it's great, but it does get to a point where, like, oh, it's just grinding now,
Yeah.
and there's no like, oh, trying to complete the Pokedex, because Pokemon is such a big thing. You know
Yeah.
all the Pokemon. Um, with Harry Potter, it's definitely different, and it feels different, and it does get a bit bland uh,
Mm-hmm.
very quickly if
Well,
you've found a lot and you keep getting the same thing. It
yeah.
does.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I definitely think it's interesting you say that, because that's been one of my largest questions since the game was even announced. How
Yeah,
are they going to keep it going? What are they going to be able to put in the game to launch it so it gains interest? But how are they going to keep it going? How is it going to be relevant in 6 months? What are they going to do to keep people interested? And honestly, it's a little bit of a worry that I have about the game is how long can they keep people's attention? Because it is
yeah,
this, I mean, I get the fortress is really cool. I like that concept. I like how they have you team up and stuff like that. But besides that, I mean, unless you're the type of person who wants to go do raids all day long, if that's the kind of person you are in Pokemon Go, you go raid a lot, then
yeah,
I think you'll like Wizards Unite. But if you like catching Pokemon, if you like doing that, I don't know where they're going with this so far from what I've seen from videos and screenshots.
yeah. And it's funny that you say rating as well. I think that fortresses, they need to make it so you have to complete a certain amount, and maybe limit it to each day. Because at the moment, you can go to any fortress and continue on from that progress. And I think that needs to be individualized, and it has a limit. So you can only do, let's say, 2 or 5 a day, and per fortress.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that would be a better step.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so as well. In fact, I talked about this on one of the last streams I had with how are they going to structure that? How are they going to, because in raids, basically fortresses basically equal raids. I mean, it's
Yeah.
basically the same concept. I mean, there's major
I
differences, but I
I
mean,
I I kind of think of it as like a gym.
Yeah.
where you have to go up the tiers like that. But yeah, yeah, for
So
sure.
it's like, how are they going to limit it? Because that's actually a major way that Niantic makes money. I mean, they make so much money from raid passes. It's a
Yeah,
big part of how they get paid. So I got to imagine they're going to limit it somehow, or they've got to add something new to the fortress concept that makes them makes it
make people
some
want
sort of
to go
exclusion,
in.
or like some extra reason to go get it, that you have to have a uh, certain reason to go do that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think adding in, I was talking about this with someone else. Maybe adding in like a raid system, because at the moment I find that it's like a gym.
Yeah,
We have to defeat a specific thing, and then
yeah,
you get rewards. What
hmm,
I find is that if they put a raid system in where you have a specific time limit to get that one thing, maybe they could introduce Voldemort, let's say.
sure,
Um, you know who. If they put a specific time capture on that, um, I think people would go to those more than they currently do.
sure. So
So putting
how,
like a specific person or
yeah,
specific confoundable in that place.
so how does it work currently, and what are the different for the runes? Because you basically have
Yeah.
all these different color runes, and you have different levels of those runes. So have you experimented much with that?
Yeah, so a rune is like a raid pass. You need a rune to go into a fortress, into a chamber. What I found is, or also how you attain one is you do it by leveling up or ranking up your registry.
Sure.
Um, and what I found with it is that it doesn't really matter. I haven't seen a difference
Hmm.
on the different types of those stones yet.
Okay.
I don't know if there is. I could be 100% wrong, but I haven't seen a big difference in the different types. The levels increases its difficulty to defeat the fortress and
Hmm.
that chamber. Um, and yeah, I see where they're going with this one. And originally, this morning, most of us in Auckland were thinking, "Oh, you can only get these from returning confoundables to your registry and then doing it from rank ups." But you can actually buy rune stones from Diagon Alley, which
Okay.
I see where they're going with that from under a business term, of course. But
Yeah.
I think it's something that would keep the game alive and keep people going back to go find those confoundables,
Sure.
as if they actually just made it so you can only obtain those through finding confoundables.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, I think that's a good point, and I would like to see them grow that as well. I think it's important to the game for them to do something with that, and obviously I think they've shown well that I mean there's the one thing I do like about it, going back to how are they going to keep people motivated to play. There is where Pokemon Go is just like you catch Pokemon, and that's what you do.
Yeah,
And especially when it came out, you caught Pokemon and you put Pokemon in gyms. Like that, it was very limited, and that's what you did. And then there was potions and some berries. I mean, that was the extent of Pokemon when it came out.
yeah,
But we're seeing a lot more with there's a lot more going on with Wizards Unite, between the fortresses, all the different items you can find, all the different potions, brewing potions, the Portkeys, all these different things, the registry. There just seems to be a lot more, and I wonder. Well, I think ultimately that's a good thing, because there's more someone can do. So because of the fact that you are, you know, it, there's not as you say, it's getting boring after a little while in terms of the encounters and seeing the same encounters over and over
Yeah.
again. Hopefully with the amount of stuff they've packed in the game, we'll see some more interest there. What's your experience been with all the different types of stuff and exploring the different things within the game?
Yeah, so I like it how they've turned eggs into Portkeys.
Yeah,
I think that was a great thing that they've ever done. And definitely one of
totally.
my favorites. Stepping into the Portkey, only using AR to use
Hmm.
that Portkey. I've seen a couple of people try and mess around, so they turn off the camera, and it works without camera. But I've seen that I think they've patched that now.
Okay,
Yeah, so it resets the whole game once you go and change a setting.
interesting.
Um, and so it's kind of like they're pushing into AR, which I love, and that's the company, that's Niantic, and that's their
Yeah.
purpose and why they are doing these games. Um, but also, I don't know if I do like the registry.
Mhm.
It feels like it's I mean, I never knew how they would ever do it with Wizards Unite. I knew that they would have to have something like Pokemon Go, where you would have to go and find Pokemon.
Sure.
Um, and I'm just grabbing it up so I can see. But yeah, I think besieging it, I see where they're trying to do it. So you're trying to collect more and more, so there's no end to the game.
Hmm.
Um,
Sure.
yeah, it does sound more like RPG Wizards Guide. It definitely does. It seems like because in Pokemon Go, you know all the Pokemon. They look so cute and
Yeah.
everything. It's a big phenomenon.
Yeah.
And I see that with Harry Potter as well. I see that they're getting all the Harry Potter fans and all that sort of stuff, and I like that. But I
Sure.
don't think Harry Potter is the one to be catching stuff. I don't think it's that type of base. Maybe they would implement a game differently,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't have ever known how that would have turned out, if you
Definitely.
know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think going back to what you're saying is overall the mechanics and how the game looks. It's it seems like a lot of the concepts are very familiar to people who played WoW. So I keep seeing in the comments, and I've talked to people in the past, and I've seen comments on it. It looks like World of Warcraft to
Yeah,
a degree with how you're teaming up the different professions and kind of like you just said, an RPG.
yeah, for sure. Um, I like it how they've added professions. Of course, that's like one of the biggest things in this game.
Yeah.
Uh, and I like it how they've made it skill based, so that you have to actually climb your way up.
Hmm.
Instead of like Pokemon Go, you only have levels, but what do those levels actually do? What does level actually do? It just gives you to
Sure.
unlock new items. Where in this one, it's skill based, and you have to try and get the parchment and the library books to complete that skill. Um, and of course, potions. I like it how, as
Yeah.
I said before, that you can. There's a wait time. There's a wait time, so it's not instantaneously.
Hmm.
That's definitely something that I'm really fond of.
Yeah, I think that is cool. I mean, it kind of. I mean, obviously the port keys, kind of walking. I don't even know what I would really relate potions to. I mean, obviously the potions you get, but um,
I think
the
maybe
overall
raspberries and pineapples
yeah,
and stardust,
yeah,
because a lucky egg in the game
yeah,
for Pokemon Go, of course. There's a potion for that where you
yeah.
double your XP, and that's what people have been doing. So they would just constantly bang out Rune Chamber One raids, uh, Rune
Okay,
Chamber One fortresses.
got it.
Um, so the basicest level in the fortress, but it would be so fast that they keep pumping out that XP, and it's actually like a really beneficial way of leveling
Uh,
up.
so there's basically jumping in and finishing level one, jumping out, and just going back and forth like that.
Yeah, for the how long the potion goes for, which is 30
So how
minutes.
long is the timer to start a fortress?
The Star Fortress, it's 25 seconds. at the
Oh, wow.
moment,
That's fast.
which is really fast. Compared to Pokemon Go, where you wait 200 and I think it's 220 something now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, it is a quick fast time, and if you don't get in it, it will just reset it like Pokemon Go. Um, I think maybe a little bit longer. I love it how it's really fast paced.
Yeah.
Maybe if they don't even have private lobbies at the moment. And if they ever added a private lobby, maybe they make it so the leader of that private lobby can click start
Mhm.
when they've got all of their players in, because it is a fast timer. And
Yeah.
if you don't get your player in, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, that'd be interesting for a private. I mean, trying to get a group of people together. I mean, you're waiting. I mean, sometimes your people are running down the last minute when you're playing Pokemon Go, trying to do a raid with people trying to jump in, and like you said, that's a much longer timer. So that's very crazy.
Yeah.
How has it been in terms of leveling up? Is it? I mean, obviously there's 60 levels, which is
Yeah.
obviously quite a bit more than Pokemon Go. And I think everyone's seen people jump within a week all the way to level 17 or higher. People are really jumping levels rather quickly. Does it seem like it's going to? You feel like it's been easy to level up so far, and do you feel like in general, like I guess maybe my ultimately what I'm trying to compare is how hard is it going to get to level 60 versus how hard is it going to get to level 20 or and 40?
Yeah, I 100% what you're getting here. Um, my experience, I'm currently level nine. Yeah, level 9, halfway through level 9. But that's because I've been leveling it up with the series in mind, so that I show you guys the leveling up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's very fast. I know players that are currently at level 25.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's within a week. It's like maybe they should put a little bit harder. Once you hit level 20, it does get way harder.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys don't know, level 1, it only takes you 1000 XP to get to level 2. Level 2 to level 3, it takes you 2000 XP, and so forth. Sorry, level 1 to 2 is 2000. So wherever you're next going into, that's how much XP you need. So
Yeah.
level 9, I need 10,000 XP because that's level 10. After level 20, and that's where we got really confused, because in the game files it said I can't remember the exact words. Again, I can never remember these. Um, but it said something like what's it
Yeah.
called?
So the level XP. So XP needed from
I'm trying to find it quickly. It said, if I
well, from once it hits 20, from what I've seen, it's 19 to 20 is 25, and then 20 to 21 is 30,000, and then level 21 to 22 is 35. So it basically goes up in 20 or in 5 increments once
yeah,
it
for
hits level
sure.
21. So
Yeah, it's definitely hard. Well, I'm just trying to find. Actually, I could just probably do it through my video. On my video. If in the game files, it originally said 1 to 20. And
mhm.
that's where everyone was confused. Like, oh, is this just something because the beta for Pokemon Go was up to level 30?
Yeah,
Or is it something to do with, it was an interesting thing. I'm just gonna quickly skip through the video to see if I can find it here. Um, I think I said something like proposed or
okay,
um, something like that, and it was saying that, oh, this is a beta. These are what the beta levels are going to be like. So you don't
got
have a massive advantage. Turns out you do.
it. Yeah,
um, and yeah, I think the first level 60 will obviously hit New Zealand. Um, but
yeah,
yeah, it kind of seems like um, the levels are really easy.
Hmm.
up until you hit level 20, and then after level 20, it's like it's a little bit harder, and we'll see if that progresses every 20 levels.
Yeah,
Hopefully, we can see that soon.
yeah. I think it's been crazy to see how fast it's gone. And for what I've seen, I I think I read something that.
Here it is. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Prototype. It was named. So all the file names were profile underscore level up underscore
Yeah,
description underscore proto underscore player level underscore the number. So we were thinking prototype. But yeah,
yeah.
continue. Sorry to
Well,
interrupt you.
no, it's all good. So it does seem like players from New Zealand are going to be able to keep all their game data. Like it's not going to refresh when the game comes out, from what it seems like, which definitely gives everyone over there even more of an advantage for this coming out, which is awesome. But it's so sad for all of us over here. We're just like dying for the game. I
Yeah,
really truly get a full head start. It's not. It's really a different. It's like, I've had a discussion with people. It doesn't even seem like a beta. I mean, it's basically
now.
like a soft launch. Like this is basically a soft launch in New Zealand.
Yeah. I think, and that was also our concern as content creators when we were looking through terms of service. When under beta, it said you can't display any game footage or photos or anything like that. And then that's what got us concerned about Niantic taking down posts. Um, and we found out that that was only those terms are only for closed-in betas that you get accepted or
Mhm.
invited into. This beta is public. Anyone that has a New Zealand app store can download the game, and then anyone in New Zealand that is currently on the map in New Zealand can actually play and use our features.
Yeah, which is really cool. I mean, that it is so awesome. It,
I also like how they've definitely leveled up their spoofing problems there, which is really good because it's. I've had a couple of people post some comment on my videos saying, "Oh, I'm sure I could use a VPN or something like that to get through the
uh-huh.
server," but no one's been able to do it.
Hmm.
It's pretty much impossible right now to spoof.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would love for that to be true. And I think in Pokemon Go,
Yeah,
they've done a lot to figure out how to stop spoofing, which is awesome.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah, but I don't think that they'll be able to completely close it out once it is launched
once it's
worldwide.
fully launched. Yeah.
Yeah, someone will figure out how to spoof and make it available to people. As much as people, I think, want spoofing to not exist in Wizards Unite, I
Yeah, it's
don't
gonna
think
happen.
it's gonna happen. Um, so I don't feel like anyone should get too excited about no spoofing in Wizards
Yeah,
Unite. But it
and
doesn't
don't spoof,
like,
guys.
but like in Pokemon Go, I will say, and not to
They've got a
encourage
reason
spoofing,
to.
but there's so much more that you can affect the game via spoofing. There just doesn't seem to be as much benefit to spoofing in Wizards Unite. I mean, at least to other players, you
Yeah,
don't affect other players as much in Wizards Unite.
yeah,
When playing, it just
for sure.
doesn't seem like as
And
beautiful.
yeah, and of course, I don't condone spoofing or anything, but there is nothing to spoof. There's no reason to spoof in Wizards Unite. I think that's what would limit it a little bit more than Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
Because of course, Pokemon Go, you've got regionals, you've
yeah.
got Tauros,
Mhm.
uh you've got all of these different things, Heracross, and you've
Yeah.
got um you can go to a specific coordinate and see, oh, a Dragonite is at these coordinates. I will type
Mhm.
those in. Um and there's no reason
Well,
to.
I do think they'll have regionals though. I definitely think there'll be regional
I hope they
encounters.
do. I hope they do.
Yeah, I think they're for sure going to. I mean, if you just look at Fantastic Beasts alone and all the different types of beasts in the Harry Potter universe, the Wizarding world, there really are there are specific regional creatures, and I think they will have those regional. And but I mean, going back a little bit to the spoofing, like you said, there's really no reason, unless besides that, there really should be no reason to spoof because there's not at least they
Oh,
add something different to the game where it somehow they add some major features. I don't see spoofing just being an issue. There's just nothing to do with
yeah,
spoofing that you can't just do. I mean, and I think at least, and I don't know if they thought about this when creating the game, but from what I've seen, there's no detriment that spoofing players are going to have on other players. Besides
yeah,
leveling up faster and being like, oh, well, I'm a higher level than you. But besides for that, it doesn't seem like spoofers are going to affect regular players, which I think is ultimately a benefit to the game, because if you don't have people that can make the game less enjoyable for others, then ultimately the spoofing issue won't be as big of a deal, just because it doesn't affect standard players or regular players.
yeah,
They just do
for
their own
sure.
thing.
And also replying to your comment, Mod TV, that's in the chat. Apparently, it looks like there is game files for different items in different languages. Maybe that could be a thing.
Hmm.
Hopefully, they're not just teasing us, because of course they knew that we would look through files
Yeah.
straight away and download APK and stuff like that. So hopefully they're not jinxing anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely can't imagine them putting the game out without having other languages. But what I do
Because
wonder,
did you see the French version
I
of the
haven't.
game?
No, I have not.
So I know a guy in Auckland that's his iPad is generically in the French language.
Okay, yeah.
Um, and that game, even though it's on New Zealand App Store, New Zealand thing, when you launch into the game, it has that Wizards Unite, and it says the Wizarding World is. Hang on, I'm gonna try and find it here. The Wizarding World is in danger. Um, we're gonna show. So not this screen, this
Yeah.
next screen that will pop up. This one. It has Francais on that lightning bolt. So it
Oh,
is. It's gonna be, but that's the only country that's currently got it. We've checked for UK,
hmm,
US, South America. Nothing else have popped up for that.
that's
Seems like it's
interesting.
only a France exclusive.
That is interesting. Well, I wonder if they'll have, because one of the things that stood out to me right away is they have people speaking in the audio. There are people speaking, you know.
Yeah,
So I thought that was very interesting. And
I
are
think there could
those
be a
going to be
storyline there.
translated into other languages?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, I'll have to actually check that out for you. I'll try and get him to see if he can check for me. Because I know
Oh,
that half of his game is in French and then the other half is in English.
hmm,
So maybe there is generic English just currently because it's only in New Zealand.
yeah.
I know the funniest thing is he did the I don't know if you've seen my latest video, but I accidentally rented a potion
Hmm.
bowl, the golden one.
Yeah.
He had the same problem as well. He accidentally clicked it because we were all thinking, oh, just scroll down, but everyone accidentally clicked the button because the hitbox was weird. Um, oh, hey, what's up, Camille? Yeah, you're in France. Awesome. No, not yet. um, but yeah, it looks like um maybe yeah, anyway, Niantic, he contacted Niantic support to see if he could get a refund.
Yeah.
Um, they said, we only cater for New Zealand audience at the moment.
Hmm,
Because they were looking on his iPad thinking, oh,
yeah.
it's in French. He must be
Uh-huh.
from France, but he wasn't. So it looks like they're actually really strict on this. And eventually they came through and said, oh, actually, no, we actually have seen that you are in New Zealand and your app store is New Zealand. So we'll fix it for you. But it
Huh,
seems like
that's really interesting.
they are getting, yeah.
That's real
But
interesting.
maybe the English language is only out at the moment, and they might expand it once those countries could become available.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
that might be
because
happening.
of the soft launch, it makes me, because it's not a closed beta,
Yeah, yeah,
it really makes me wonder how soon is it going to be out for other countries. And part of me, from some of the things, we've been talking about, some of me feels like we're still a little ways out.
yeah,
But some of me also feels like since it's an open beta, it's got to be right around the corner, like any week. So I feel like so conflicted. Is it going to be soon, or is it going to be relatively long from now for them to really fix some of these betas? I mean, they haven't, because I truly believe they're going to change the character from being just a color to a actual customizable person. And if they haven't got those features rolled out, if they still have some bugs they're trying to fix, there's still some things they need to tidy up from what we've seen in the beta. So how far do you think we are from it actually being seen in other countries?
Great question. I think, well, tomorrow marks the official 1 week, of course, from when the beta has started. I think we could potentially see another country hit, if not maybe a specific city. Because I honestly, I know I've talked about this before. If UK or US or Australia would get that next, looking at the UK's population, I reckon it won't go to them next. I know that Harry Potter's massive in there, and I think that's right. The reason people think, oh, UK is coming out next. I think the reason why they're holding off UK is because they want to get perfect, so that UK Harry Potter fans will be, oh, jump into this fully on the first day. I think maybe tomorrow we could see another city or country hit the App Store. If not tomorrow, I think we could be looking at May here, mid-May for a next country.
Yeah, I definitely think, in terms when I think business wise, they want to make a splash like they made with Pokemon Go, where just like everyone was playing. Like you said, it came out in Santa Monica. I mean, it was crazy when it came out. When Pokemon
like
came out. It was
no
insane.
one on that pier was not playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
It was only Pokemon Go players. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they want to do something similar with Wizards Unite. They want to get a big, broad base of players in, and I don't see how they're gonna do that yet. I don't know what they're gonna do, because it doesn't seem polished, but I also don't think a slow rollout is the right way to do it either. I think if they slowly roll it out, it's not gonna have
the dramatic effect.
A dramatic effect. They
100%.
gotta like mic drop it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that's the thing. Well, New Zealand and Australia got the invite beta to Pokemon Go originally, and then it went out to the US. I think, yes, they do need to put it into beta, of course. They need to have the public try and crash the game, or try and bug out the game, maybe find those key things that will have problems in the big drop. They 100% will do a big drop. I reckon, based on Ingress, Pokemon Go, they've always done a big drop for suspense. There was always a beta before. And yet, this is the first ever beta I think Niantic has ever done that is public enough, which is the first beta they've ever announced, that it's been public enough that they've been allowed to show people the game and get New Zealanders to show you guys the how to do this all very quickly, get to the highest level that you can very quickly. I think that was an interesting move by them to do that.
Absolutely. I mean, in one regard, I think it's awesome that we're finally able to see some information.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's been months.
All that. It's been awesome, but it's also been a little bit of, I wonder if that was a smart move to do because like I said, like you were saying earlier, you guys were trying to figure out, is this a beta? What is this? And like I've said, this doesn't even seem like a beta. I'm not sure that's even the right way to call it. It's like, it's a soft.
I would call it launching in New Zealand only, and we'll be rolling it out to different countries soon.
Yeah, I mean, it basically seems like they're just going to, as they have the game played, as they like, kind of like what you said about the Pokestops. I think that, or the spawn points and the stops. as they continue to grow over the next couple of days, add more and add more of the features and add more of the features and roll out in other countries. And then just continue to add those features. So the New Zealand players really are just getting new features added to the game. It's never really like, okay, stop, time out, now here's the game. It's like
Yeah,
here's the game, we'll add the rest as we go and as we introduce new countries. So
because
that's very different from what they've done with Pokemon Go. And like you said, when you guys were looking at the beta program, very different.
yeah, they actually in New Zealand and Australia. I know they did this in New Zealand. Unfortunately, I was never in the beta for that. But I had friends that were, and um, they said that their beta got cut off at a specific point, and they were like, "Thank you for playing the game. Please
Mhm.
wait until the launch." And that was like, "Oh, okay." With this beta, if we're even calling that anymore at this
Yeah.
point, I know that so many people have been saying it's a soft launch. It is, and it definitely is. Um, what I find is that yes, they need to find these bugs, but maybe have it in a environment where we saw that level 20, maybe cap it at level 20. Once you hit that, you're like, oh, thank you for playing the game. Let's take those next couple of weeks before we completely drop the mic, fix those
Yeah.
things, add those new features. Um, because at the moment, it seems like New Zealand has been given the massive vantage point, not only within XP and levels, but also for gaining items, for gaining dark detectors,
Mhm.
keys,
Sure.
Portkeys, and yeah, I just think it's a whole advantage that I think should be capped. I think that would have
Yeah.
been a little smarter.
Yeah, I mean, not to, I hate to compare this game to Hogwarts Mysteries, but
Yeah, yeah,
but when the beta came out for Hogwarts Mysteries, I mean, it was capped. I mean, you played, and then it was like, well, thanks for playing. Like that was, I appreciate you playing the beta. We'll tell you when the game actually comes out, and you can download it, and you start fresh. You start from square one, and I mean, the game was very similar. There was some tweaks, but that definitely is not what they're doing here. But that being said, I wonder if they decide, like last minute, they decide, okay, are they gonna pause the game for you guys? Are they gonna say, okay, timeout, thanks for beta testing this for us. We're gonna wait a month, we're gonna wait 2 months to actually release the game. Ultimately, I think from a business perspective, they should do that.
yeah.
They should let you guys play for as long as they feel like they need, and then they should just shut it all down. And I think they should wait like a prolonged period, like more
Yeah.
than a week. Like they should wait like a month. Like wait till
And
GoFest. Like let you guys play until May or mid-May, and then wait till GoFest to or around that time frame, right? Maybe right after GoFest and release it.
yeah, what could be interesting tomorrow is if they do this. I didn't want to bring it up because I know that people won't like it, but they could cap it tomorrow. They could shut us all off and hit us with that clothesline. Um,
Yeah.
that is definitely a possibility. A 1 week beta in a country and then try it on the other side of the world. Uh, do a 1 week beta there, see what differences are, see what they need to fix, and then launch
Yeah.
it. But I do reckon they'll launch it within end of May to June. I think
Yeah.
that's when we'll see it.
Well, that is exciting. I mean, we'll have to see, and I guess
It is.
they're of course leaving us still guessing with some things that we can really only speculate on, but we'll have to see.
Yeah. It would be sad if they cut it off tomorrow. Um, yeah, it definitely would be because Auckland has gained such a big community on it. I mean, not as big as Pokemon Go. There's like 20,000 players in Auckland that play Pokemon Go. But
Yeah. What
there's
what have you
hundreds.
seen in terms of people playing Pokemon Go versus playing Wizards Unite? What's been the changeover? And are there, I guess, a two-part question: how many Pokemon Go players are going to Wizards Unite, and then how
And
many people
staying there.
don't play Wizards Unite? How many people aren't in the Pokemon Go community that are now playing Wizards Unite? What are you seeing?
Yeah, so it's actually been really interesting the past week. Um, I originally tried to find a Facebook group for Auckland, uh, and I couldn't. For some weird reason, Facebook, uh, I could never find it on Facebook. Luckily enough, I had a Pokemon Go friend that is the leader for North Shore, for our side of the city, and he invited me to it, and then I shared it out to my audience and stuff like that. Um, but what I found was people are just sticking to Pokemon Go. Uh, there are more people sticking to Pokemon Go than trying this game out. I know that a couple of people uh, that have just found my video for the first time, like the first episode today. They were like, "Oh, I live in Wellington. I never knew this thing was out."
Hmm.
So maybe there is some lack of promotion there. I don't know. Um, you tried to play both and don't have Pokemon. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
So
can
yeah,
see
that's
that.
another thing. So
Yeah.
Pokemon Go Plus, the little wristband. It's not on me at the moment. Actually, I've got two. Um, but yeah, it's been a massive buff for the people that have moved over and started playing Wizards Unite. They
Mhm.
don't want to fully commit to it because they know it's beta. What they've said is a beta. Um, and yeah, I find that all the Pokemon Go players have got Pokemon Go pluses, so they're still catching, they're still getting those Pokestops, still their items and their eggs to tracked. Um, yeah, it was two actually for mod. And that goes me into another thing that I'll talk about in a second. Um, but it looks like there are still people that are like, no, I'm sticking to Pokemon Go. I'm not going to transfer because I'm not a fan of Harry Potter. I'm not. I really
Mhm.
like Pokemon.
Yeah.
I started playing the game for Pokemon, not because of Pokemon Go.
Yeah. Well, Wonder Woman really brings up a good point when she says, I'm not sure if I'll drop one. I think people ultimately, I mean, I do think the Pokemon Go Plus is going to help, but I think at a certain point, people aren't going to play both. It's hard to play both. I mean,
Yeah,
there are people that, I mean, Pokemon Go has been going crazy in terms of all the different events that they've been having and all the different shinies and stuff like that. To keep up with Pokemon Go, it's a fair bit of work. You have to play fairly consistently to
constantly.
keep
You
up and
have to
try to
play
catch the
every day,
guys. Yeah, every single day. So
or at
people who,
least have news every single day from it,
yeah,
so you
definitely,
know when to play.
definitely. So I think it is going to be interesting who decides to drop Pokemon Go after playing for 2 years, after spending money on lucky eggs and all of that.
Yeah,
How many people are going to drop Pokemon Go and go to Wizards Unite? So I think it's interesting and fairly telling that even though we're in a beta, I think there's a certain level of excitement though about a beta and about a new game, and if Pokemon Go players are still like, yeah, whatever, I don't, I don't really care, even though it's a brand new game, beta testing, only in New Zealand.
only New
If
Zealand gets
that's
it
not bringing people to Wizards Unite in a
for a while.
larger sweep, then it is interesting how many people may not transfer from Pokemon Go. I mean, I know in my community, there's a lot of people who have not expressed any interest in Wizards Unite dropping. They're not going to play Wizards Unite. They're going to stick with Pokemon Go, and
Yeah.
have said that from the beginning. So that's really interesting. You saying that.
Yeah, and of course there are going to be those players where they're like, "Oh, yeah, I might give it a try for a week. See how it is, okay, week goes past. Okay, I'm just going to stick back to Pokemon Go." I totally get that. That's fair. It's in beta. Of course, there's bugs and everything that's still there. What's going to be interesting is if they come back to the game when
Yeah.
it's fully developed. And it definitely is a soft launch for sure. But seeing once professors, once your player icons come alive,
Hmm.
people we can't even clothe. We don't even have faces in the game. It's a generic icon with no actual eyes or mouth or
Yeah.
anything. Um, but yeah, it will be interesting. I don't think it's never going to be as big as Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go was meant for Pokemon fans to play the game and new people to go and explore the world.
Yeah.
Wizards Unite, yes, although the game is awesome. It's great to see that Niantic is doing other companies, other franchises,
Mhm.
other than just Pokemon, sticking with that and branching off to those. But I don't think it will ever be as big as Pokemon Go. I
Yeah.
don't think that.
I ultimately think you're right. I don't think Wizards Unite is going to be as big as Pokemon Go. I think, someone mentioned, my TV mentioned Ingress. I do think Wizards Unite is going to be much larger than Ingress is.
Yeah,
But
because Ingress in New Zealand, I mean, it has a decent player base.
yeah.
And they brought over an event beginning of this year with the council. But yeah, I think it's gonna be the new Ingress, essentially, like the new lower version of Pokemon Go.
Well, and I think ultimately it's so hard to compete with what they did with Pokemon Go. They
Yeah,
brought so many players. Like if it was just Pokemon Go players or Pokemon players that played the games when they were kids,
that would still
and
be massive.
it would still be big, but not nearly as big as it currently is. I mean, people are playing Pokemon Go who never played
Or
ever
never even knew
into
what
it.
Pokemon was.
Yeah. There's
Also, what I found was, uh, yeah, exactly. Um, Pokemon Go is more relatable to people, but also because Pokemon Go is the first thing that ever happened. That was the first AR fully interactive game that was launched. And I mean, it was a groundbreaker for gaming, mobile gaming. Um, and
yeah.
people didn't expect that it would be that popular. Um, and yeah, I think we could be seeing something that's definitely a little less popular.
Yeah. That being said, there really is, and people keep saying this, and I totally agree. Um, but I don't think it does change the point that Pokemon Go is gonna, I think, stay larger than Wizards Unite. But Harry Potter fans are like there are super crazy
Crazy into
Harry
it.
Potter fans. Like it's amazing. I mean, my Instagram account that I made for
Yeah, I
Wizards
saw
Unite
that.
and Harry Potter is like I just reached 50,000
Yeah, I
followers,
saw that.
and there
Congrats.
are yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, thank you. And it's amazing. I like the amount that I appreciate Harry Potter fans now is on a whole nother level. Like people's comments and what people are saying, and just like constant interaction about Harry Potter. It's crazy. Like the fans are just like I could
100%.
never imagine people being so into it. I think Pokemon Go fans, they love Pokemon Go, but I don't think there are the number of fans that are just so invested into it. Just
Yeah.
like I think the fans that are fans are bigger fans than Pokemon. Like I like Pokemon. Like look at that.
Congratulations. I tried to find with balloons and didn't work.
But a number of people that are really Harry Potter fans, I think, are just like it's just on another level in terms of fandom. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Um, Harry Potter fans are crazy over Harry Potter. We saw that with the Deathly Hallows Part 2 movie that got launched in the UK. People were staying out there for 2 days on end, waiting just to get right next to the red carpet, not even to watch the movie in the actual theater, which I thought was insane. That is big. I think London is going to, UK is definitely going to be the biggest source of
Mhm.
um, players in this game.
Yeah,
100%. I mean, we all knew that it was going to be like that. Um, just like Pokemon Go is to Japan.
yeah,
Um, and of course, that's always going to happen. Always going to happen in a native country. But I see Harry Potter fans. Like I went to second day of launch in New Zealand. I went to a Harry Potter play called
yeah.
Potted Potter.
Okay.
It's like a they tell the whole 7 books in 70 minutes.
Okay, nice.
It's interesting, and it's a parody technically. And what I found with that one is I would see kids dressed in their robes and their house robes, their Hogwarts house robes, Gryffindor, Slytherin. I even saw Hufflepuffs there and Ravenclaws with their wands, and they were just having a blast because they were in that environment that they've watched and grown up in. And I think that this would be a game changer for them, to have an interactive Harry Potter game. Be like, oh, now you're actually a wizard. Do these things for the ministry and
Mhm.
see how they thrive in this type of thing if they're actually given this stuff. I think would be interesting to see.
Yeah, and hopefully, tying this back a little bit to the game, hopefully they find some ways to make it a little bit more interactive. And I think that ultimately, I think they need to find some ways. Not necessarily, it doesn't necessarily have to be like PvP because there's really not PvP in the game yet, where there is in Pokemon Go. And I do think PvP is something that they're going to bring to Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But absolutely 100%. But I do think they need to add something to Harry Potter that does take it to another level that Pokemon Go has been able to have, and I don't know exactly what that is. I haven't really put my finger on what that feature
because Harry
is, but
Potter is such it's a franchise of one person. I mean, Harry Potter is a person, Harry Potter.
yeah,
Which is why I was surprised that they named it HP Wizards Unite. But when you actually download uh, the app's name on our screens is Wizards Unite, which I'm glad to see because it's not just Harry, um,
yeah,
which is the constriction of what they can put in the game.
hmm
Because I mean, she's still there's still Wizard World movies to come,
yeah,
Fantastic Beasts,
hmm
stuff like that. So the whole storyline isn't set, but there's a storyline compared to Pokemon where it's Ash,
hmm
um, but then it's Pokemon. It's called
yeah.
Pokemon,
There's
not
really no
Ash.
main storyline. Yeah, to Pokemon Go, there's really not. And I was having a discussion where I think that we're going to see kind of how Pokemon Go has really inspired Pikachu Detective. And
Yeah.
but I do think that we're gonna
By the
see.
way, I'm super excited for that movie.
Yeah, me too.
That's
It's
gonna be
gonna be
so
awesome.
sick. Ryan Reynolds.
I know.
Oh,
I'm super excited. He's gonna be.
I'm going to a watch party on day.
Yeah,
At midnight there is a watch party in Auckland, so I'll be at that. By the way.
check that out. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's gonna be awesome. I'm super excited doing that. But I think they're gonna do stuff like that. This storyline is going to turn into a movie. I'm calling it now. I am on record. There is going to be a
Yeah.
Wizards Unite.
Yeah. Someone's leaving.
Wizards
Bye,
Unite
Mod.
yeah.
But
So
yeah,
it's gonna happen.
I think that happened. And that will be interesting too, because the Cursed Child is a play, and it's meant to be a play only. How will they put Harry Potter into this next film?
Yeah.
I think I 100% I'm with you on that one. I do think there'll be another Harry Potter movie. It's just when.
Yeah, and ultimately, with the success of this game, depending on where it is, I mean, it really can extend the franchise if they do it right. And I guess I kind of go back to that feature that I don't know what they're going to do, but I think it's got to be interactive in some sort. There's got to be one thing. There are two things are what made, or in terms of features that I think really they got right with Pokemon Go, is obviously just the grinding that you could do with trying to catch Pokemon and the trying to collect them. People love that. And the fact that you had
100%.
to catch the same thing multiple times, it didn't lose interest because you were trying to get, catching a Pidgey
The
didn't
best
get
IVs.
yeah, a bunch of Eevees, because you're trying to get the evolved form of those. I think they need that is good, and I think hopefully with the prestiging they do something that makes it a little bit more interesting. But then also the gyms were competitive. They gave people something to talk about, to kind of
Fight
play,
for. Yeah.
fight for.
Because they're
It was
representing their
evolving.
team.
There was things different. Like you opened your map, you checked, the gym was a different color the next morning. Someone took that over. Where I don't see anything like that in Wizards Unite.
And there isn't. And I think that's what makes it bland.
Yeah.
Is that,
And
I mean, the game is great, Niantic, if you're watching this anytime soon. I'm not criticizing the game. I'm just saying there needs to be a feature where other players can battle each other, so that there is a competitive level to this game. And they are launching something that isn't in the beta, the events. There is an events info tab, and there is also an events tab in the game, and we'll have to see what that means.
I mean, it could just be live events like they've done with Pokemon Go. I mean, you see that now, especially if you could register for GoFest, which hopefully everyone did if they're interested in that. GoFest is awesome. I went last year. It was fantastic.
Are you going this year?
Well, I don't know. It just depends on if I get selected.
So you did put an entry in.
Oh yeah, I put an entry in. Definitely put an entry.
Sadly, I can't. I really wish I could.
Well, that's interesting. I've kind of figured. I also wonder how they're going to pick people. I'm hoping because I went last year that they see that my account actually was there last year, and therefore they maybe bump me up in the ability to be selected. But,
or it could turn on you on that way. It could be the opposite because they're channeling it. But it is a 4-day event this year. It's massive. It is going to be massive this year. And the ticket prices are lower. I think they're lower. Are they?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the ticket prices are.
Yeah,
although
$25
last year, they were like
$25 for a day. Yeah, which is insanely cheap. And comparing that to
E3 that's what's the expensive part.
Comparing that to E3 or VidCon, the badges for that is insane. But I see why they are, because they have all of this ground to cover. But I like it how the ticket prices are reasonable.
Yeah, it is nice. And I mean, it is cool that they do so many events around the world, which I think they're going to need to do. If they don't have something competitive, they do need to make some sort of event oriented, which I think they're starting to master with Pokemon Go. I mean, there is an event every other week. I mean, there is an event tied into an event, tied into an event. And it's just it's basically like an ongoing event in Pokemon Go. At this point, there's always an event going on. And I think they're going to need to do something like that for Wizards Unite so that if they don't include some other feature, I think there's got to be something that just is it ties people back to keep coming. And we'll have to see how much they actually implement that.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, this year they've announced that there's GoFest in Dortmund, Germany. Super stoked that they're actually expanding these GoFests. And it's going to be interesting to see because if you guys don't know, you can now submit a proposal for Niantic events in 2020 for Niantic 2020, which we'll definitely be doing here in Auckland for a park, and we'll see if that is not only because they said that they're looking for a new Pokemon Go Safari Zone place, but what is going to be interesting to see is if they also expand that into Wizards Unite. If they're going to make it so they're scouting also for new locations for a Wizards Unite event. I think that would be something that they're definitely looking into for that one as well.
Well, talking a little bit about Niantic and going back to where they could release next, I will say I'm from Ventura, California, which is where Niantic filmed the trailer for Pokemon Go. The massive trailer for when it came out was filmed there. So I literally know people who were actually in the trailer, which is crazy.
That's actually sick. Yeah, that trailer was awesome.
It was really good.
And that
So I
hype
don't know. Maybe Ventura's on their map. Maybe they're going to come here. Maybe that's where the next.
And of course, the California it has to be. Their offices are in San Francisco, no doubt. And I honestly don't know why they haven't done one in San Fran. Maybe because of the player base in there.
Yeah,
Who
and
knows?
there's just so many people around. And honestly, one of the reasons I said they do it in New Zealand is because it's hard to get there. It's honestly hard
Yeah.
to get to New Zealand.
And
People would
the
just
amount of
flood
people
San Francisco if it was there. People would just like they would drive from all over.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's New Zealand's such an exclusive place, which I'm very lucky to be in. But saying that as well, it's also saying, hey, look, because I mean, people compare to us to Australia all the time. Of course they do, because we're right next to each other and we look kind of identical. But in fact, we actually broke off them technically. But yeah, it's interesting to see how they're gonna go about. As you said, it's isolated. Are they going to select another isolated spot to try? Are they going to cut us off and then try another isolated spot? Is that going to happen? We'll have to see in the next few couple of days or weeks.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Well, it's been awesome to talk to you. I don't know, is there anything else you want to share about the game that we really haven't covered yet?
I don't know. The game is, of course, it's not what everyone was expecting. We definitely didn't expect confoundables, that kind of system of fortresses as well. We knew that something was going to come. We just didn't know if it was going to identically mirror or just have a reskin of Pokemon Go.
Sure.
We definitely, I don't know about you, but I definitely hoped that there wouldn't just be a reskin, that there would be new mechanics, but I don't. Of course, I like some of the mechanics, like the fortress system. I love it how you can team up with people instead of just battling them. But then again, there are points in the game, like with the registry. It's like, man, I think they've constructed, what's the word I'm trying to look for? Restricted themselves around with that part. But yeah, it's been awesome to hang out with you, live stream with you. I hope you guys all get to play the game very soon, hopefully within the next couple of days or weeks. But I definitely think it will be coming around mid-May to beginning of June.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
I hope so. I hope it's soon. I want to get my hands on it. We did talk about customization in this live stream, so definitely check it out. If you missed any part of the live stream, the whole thing was awesome. So definitely replay it and check it out. It's been great. And again, Spicy's link is in the description. I also have a link to my private Discord channel. So if you guys want to check that out, you guys talk about the game or anything going on there, feel free to jump in there as well. But
I'll be jumping in there as well.
Appreciate you joining me. It was really fun. We should definitely do this again sometime soon.
Yeah, for sure. I was thinking I'll talk to you about I'll talk to you about it off screen.
All right, sounds good.
Something I'm planning.
All right. Well, everyone, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you guys. Bye.